Alright, what's up ancient Egyptian mummies and crash test dummies? Welcome back to the Sammy Whammy YouTube channel. If anyone's curious, this Shadows of Evil gameplay is just another part of that same recording from the last video. Yeah. And anyway, this video is going to be pretty short because it's really late and I'm just short on video ideas. I just want to get something out tonight. But that doesn't mean that this video is just some filler content. I'll try to make it a little fun. So today I just want to talk about a bunch of bullshit that's happened to me on public transport. I don't ride it very much, but I used to just because of the places that I used to live and visit. So I have some experience traveling using that form of transportation. And let me just tell you, some of those times are absolutely awful. So I'm just going to get into that this video. Real quick, like, subscribe, I don't know, do a bunch of that shit while I start the video. So the first thing I want to talk about is when I used to be in Italy. I visited Italy back in 2019 when I was 15 years old, and I'm just going to say, it is a weird place. It's one of those places that is simultaneously super beautiful and also kind of shit. Like Italian architecture is super beautiful and a lot of ancient Roman Empire artifacts are really cool. Well, on the flip side, there's a lot of trash everywhere. A lot of stuff is kept like pretty badly, and then a lot of Italians are pretty fucking mean. And we thought for convenience as a family that sometimes it'd be kind of cool to ride the bus around. And I'm just gonna say it, every single time we rode an Italian bus, like we just had an awful experience. I feel like a lot of public transport just smells like shit, and the place we were at in particular was Naples. And Naples smells like shit. Maybe it's just because it's just a super old city, but like, it just has that smell, you know? You probably don't know. But it's just like, I don't know. I feel like if something's so old and it's been around for so long, so many generations have lived and utilized it and trashed it up. So it just ends up having that like old place smell. I don't know what I'm saying. But I also know what I am saying simultaneously. Shut up. Also, Italy and pretty much everywhere else in the Mediterranean has just awful, awful weather. Technically, the weather's super nice, but every now and then it rains and it just feels like shit. It's annoyingly humid there, and then also it's just super hot. So when you're in the ass end of fucking Naples on a shitty public transport, everyone's sweating, everyone's hot, and it just smells like sweat, perspiration. Those two are the same thing, but like, you know, it just smells awful. 2 times we got the Japanese experience where everyone just crams into one tiny ass fucking vehicle. So everyone's just like crammed like sardines, and it's so uncomfortable. I fucking hate riding public buses, dude, so much. Especially when they're like chock full of people. One of these examples with this like sardine type shit is that I was actually like crammed behind some old ass Italian dude. And to be completely honest with you, his English was as broken as the McDonald's ice cream machine. Being an irritated old man being crammed in by a bunch of younger people, especially a 15-year-old kid named Sam from Canada, you can pretty much assume that he's just gonna be pissed. And you were right, he wouldn't stop telling me to like move around or like stop touching him there or whatever. It wasn't my fault. I was being shoved in by like all the 400 other people in this tiny ass bus. Especially on some of the old ass roads in Naples, it's just absolutely awful trying to fucking ride around on a bus because we'll hit a bump and then everyone will jump up and like everyone will just be like disarranged for a little bit. It's like if you put like, I don't know, a fish tank or something in a car and you're like riding on a bumpy road and the water's like flipping over itself and like moving around. Like, we were, like, doing the fucking wave. And then, whenever the bus turned a corner, that fucking centripetal acceleration would absolutely fucking, like, give us whiplash. And we'll try so hard to go the opposite direction of where, like, that acceleration was pulling us. And it just became absolute hell, because we try not to hit the person next to us, and then we hit the person the other person on the other side of us, and then we go back to hit that other person on the first side. It's so hard trying to, like, manage all this sort of shit. At least in Japan, they've got those fancy ass like magnetic trains that are like smooth as butter, so no one like feels any acceleration or anything or no bumps. So all they have to do is just stand still and nothing will happen. But in Italy, no one wants to be on that bus at all. We were just using it to travel around a little bit because we were kind of exhausted. We were running late for a reservation that we had for something. Also, there were a bunch of fucking locals on the bus, probably just living out their day-to-day lives. I'm gonna be honest, I don't even think the bus driver wanted to be there. She was some middle-aged asshole who just fucking rode the bus. She was so miserable, bro. What the fuck are bus driver wages on right now? Because I feel like every bus driver I've ever ridden with is sad, except for like one time. But anyway, when you have so many grumpy people in one vehicle, it just becomes absolutely, like, it's the worst experience ever. Sum up all these awful factors I'm talking about. We're swaying around, the centripetal acceleration, everyone's angry on the bus, it's hot, we're all sweaty, we all smell like shit, the city smells like shit, the bus smells like shit. You can practically smell the diesel from inside of the bus. Plus, the road is bumpy and the bus itself is loud as fuck. Now, I'm not trying to single out Italy, I'm just saying Italy just because that was the worst overall experience that I had. But yeah. One other thing that I kind of think is absolutely nuts about buses is how absolutely ridiculously tiny bus stops are. We were in France one time, and we were in the middle of leaving a museum because we had a reservation that night. So we were like, fuck it, let's just take the bus, it'll be quicker, it'll be nice, and then we can sit down because we've just been kind of exhausted all day. So we head out the museum, and we find out that it's raining. Awfully. So hustling under the rain, we find the nearest bus stop, and honestly, it's just one of those like really typical bus stops that everyone knows about. That's just like the one tiny bench underneath this super tiny shelter with the two really thin walls on the sides. And then there's like a bench on the side outside. But the thing is, there's people everywhere waiting for this bus. The bus stop was so fucking tiny, and it was outside of a goddamn museum. A museum, I've got to add, that is in one of the biggest, most visited cities in the entire fucking planet. And you have the fucking audacity to make your bus stop 2 benches, and only one of them is covered by a tiny ass shitty fucking shelter. And get this, the bus wasn't even like empty enough to fill up all of us. So we sat under the rain for like 5 minutes outside getting drenched. And when the bus finally comes by, they fill it up, and us and the family that came there before us were like couldn't get on because there were way too many people on there. So we waited like another 10-15 minutes drenched in the rain. Finally, us and the other family kind of squeezed under that tiny ass bus shelter like we were like sardines, like on that Italian bus. So we finally get inside of the bus that comes by, and I'm just gonna say it was just horrible. It was nothing like the bus in Naples, seriously. But like, you have to keep in mind, we're drenched this time. It's not hot like it was in Italy. It is cold as fuck, and it's raining, and it's just awful. And because of Paris is awful fucking city planning, which I don't blame them too much for because they're an old ass city, but because of their awful ass city planning, I got a cold for the rest of that trip. Fuck you, Paris bus stops. That's pretty much the gripes I have for the buses themselves and like the environments that they're placed in. But there's one more thing about buses that pisses me the fuck off. Weird passengers. For those of you who don't know, I was born and raised in Vancouver, then I moved away when I was like 5-6 years old. I've come back several times since then just to check it out and like visit my hometown or whatever. Plus, Vancouver is genuinely one of my favorite cities I've ever been to. Visit there one day if you haven't yet. I'm gonna be honest, their bus system's actually pretty fire. They usually clean their buses like a lot. They're nice, not many people ride them, or like not too many to where it becomes a fucking like Where's Waldo puzzle trying to find the rest of your family in amidst of a bunch of random people. But I'm gonna be honest, sometimes there are some weird people who ride the buses. And one time my family were on the bus trying to go on a long trip like from one side of the city to the other. Let's just say after the stop that we got on the bus from, this weird ass tourist family came on. Now the thing is, I have no idea where they're from. Their accents were so goofy that I couldn't even put my finger on where it could be from. They looked weird, and most of all, they acted weird. It almost feels like some like shape-shifting alien just like shape-shifted into some random humans and tried adjusting to human society. One of the people in this family was like maybe like a 7-year-old, something like that. And he was loud as fuck. He was a little too old to be constantly crying, but the thing is, he was constantly crying. And his voice was so high-pitched that I thought it'd give me fucking tinnitus. I swear, when I hopped off that bus, my ears were ringing. Now, don't call me mean for this because you have no fucking idea what it was like to be on a bus with a kid that fucking annoying. But I damn near stood up, fucking took that kid by the fucking balls. Slammed his head against the fucking wall with my fist. Slapped his head a few times very aggressively. Bang his head against the wall a couple more times, grab him by the shoulder, drop him onto the ground, and then beat his skull in with my foot like I'm the fucking Doomslayer. And then at the next stop, I dispose of his body by tossing him out the door. Sam, it can't be that bad. I was on the bus with this kid for half an hour. Half of a motherfucking hour. There was a lot of traffic that day, and it pissed me off. Now today, I hope that kid is either one of these two things. Dead, or in a situation where he knows better and actually behaves normally. But that isn't the only weird thing about that family. Maybe they were Amish or something, because the dad had no fucking idea how to use a cell phone. He had one, so he probably wasn't Amish. But he just, I don't know, he used it like a fucking baby, playing one of those shape and hole puzzles. And the mom had the most vacant stare of all time, dude. Most NPC looking ass individual I've ever seen in my life. She was sitting down, hands folded in her lap, and I bet that if she stood up, that her arms would have been like swaying around like in fucking NPC Idol animation. The only normal person in this family was the older son. He was just on his phone, just doing shit. Like he was just completely chilling. As far as I know, he's normal. Maybe secretly he was like deaf or blind or retarded or disabled, or maybe he just had some weird ass interest about him. Maybe he was fucking Cthulhu, I don't know. But yeah, I don't think I'll ever forget those motherfuckers. Yeah, but finally, I just want to talk about how annoying just children are on buses. Not just infants and toddlers, but also like teenagers who are like riding to and from school. Sometimes they're really chill and they're quiet and keep to themselves, but sometimes friends go together and it just becomes absolute hell. They're loud as fuck, they disrupt everything. All the poor people on the bus who are just trying to travel back and forth are just annoyed by them. But yeah, Vancouver's like this, like seriously. And I don't really have to explain how much I fucking hate infants and toddlers on buses, you know? I honestly hate them anywhere in public because I feel like they and their parents are just total losers. The kids for crying and feeling like they're entitled and deserve everything in the world, and the parents for making them feel that way. Maybe I'll do another video expanding into this sort of stuff because there are so many other settings than just fucking buses where kids and toddlers and, you know, whatever are just being annoying assholes who are just make me want to fucking rip my ears out, kill myself, fucking wrap myself around a tree, die, jump off a ledge, drown in water, OD on fentanyl, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, that's the end to this shitty ass video. Anyway, it's gonna be midnight in less than 3 minutes, so I'm just gonna end the video right here. I don't really have anything else. I know it was rambly and shit and probably the worst video I ever posted on this channel, but I don't know. I hope you got a little bit of enjoyment out of it. Just trying to post every day because I'm still kind of on that YouTube grind. Slowly making it out of the YouTube hood, but who knows. But anyway, fuck it. If you guys have any actual good video ideas, just suggest them to me because I'm starting to run out. I still have like 10 or so ideas for videos, but like, I don't know when or how I'll get around to them. I need to shut up. I've been stuttering. I've had a long day. Really exhausting, so apologize if like the way my articulation and speaking is in this video is awful. Like I'm just rushing this video just because I'm tired. Again, I have to wake up early tomorrow morning, do a bunch of shit. I apologize. Anyway, this has been Sammy Whammy. Like, subscribe, and look forward to better videos than this because I just shat this one out. This has been Sammy Whammy. Peace.